Hi, my name is Nadine Siddons, and I'm going to be starting us off for our Argentina pest analysis. The first thing we're going to start with is the political structure. The government type for Argentina is a democracy where the president is both the head of state and government, and they're elected every 4 years. The political system structure includes an executive, legislative, and judicial branch, and they also have administrative divisions, 23 provinces, as well as Buenos Aires, which is also the capital of Argentina. Each of these are headed by their own governor and have their own legislatures as well as court systems. We have 4 major political parties in Argentina. The Justice Socialist Party, which represents populist and center-left ideologies, your Radical Civil Union, Together for Change, which is more center-right liberal parties, La Libertad Avanza, which is more of like free market reforms, a libertarian party. Next, we're going to talk about the government stability of Argentina. There's a lot of instability due to inconsistent governance, high inflation rates, as well as fluctuating political policies and debt crisis. The fluctuating economic policies can hinder foreign business operations with industries such as energy and agriculture. Some of these may include currency controls or protectionist measures. Government inefficiencies are also a really common concern for companies navigating local regulations. And on the bottom right here, you can see the political stability index for Argentina from 1996 to 2023. Where negative 2.5 is indicating a really weak political stability and 2.5 representing a really strong stability. And this index is really a measure of certain criteria that indicates if a government will destabilize or be overthrown by unconstitutional or violent means. The average stability index from 1996 to 2023 was negative 0.7, which is obviously not ideal for business in Argentina. There's also future political risks that you may come across in Argentina, including economic instability, where high inflation or ongoing recession may strain the public finances, as well as investor confidences. Leadership changes as well could, lead to more unpredictable policy changes, social unrest, where protests and demonstrations may arise from public dissatisfaction with economic conditions or reforms. The corruption issues, allegations or perception of corruption may erode the public trust. This kind of goes along with the social unrest portion of it. And then they also face debt challenges where they have continued to struggle managing their national debt, and this could limit policy flexibility and affect international relations. These risks reflect the complex political landscape in Argentina for any type of future business and stability and growth. The next part that we're going to talk about is bribery and corruption. Corruption Perceptions Index score out of 180 countries is 98 out of 180 countries. And the Global Corruption Barometer is 49% of all people who thought corruption increased in the previous 12 months, and 13% of public service users paid a bribe in the previous 12 months. At the bottom here, you can see from 2012 to 2013 how we have kind of fluctuated over the years on this bribery and corruption risk.
My name is Isabella Ramirez, and I'll be moving on to the economic and business environment analysis. So beginning with the demographics, Argentina has a population of about almost 46 million people with a relatively slow annual growth rate of under 1%. In terms of age distribution, the country has a balanced demographic with about 10% of the population under the age of 15 years old, while roughly 14% are over the age of 65. This creates a stable workforce, but also signals a need for long-term planning around aging. The projected increase is said to be 6.1% by the year of 2050. So going on to the next slide, the population is largely urban, with over 90% of Argentinians living in cities, especially in and around Buenos Aires, which is the capital and the economic hub of the country. Um, while 10% goes to the rural population. As you can see in the top two graphs, the urban population has increased from the year 2022, while at the same time the rural population has decreased since that same year. Moving on to the trade. When it comes to trade, Argentina is a major exporter of agricultural goods, particularly soy, corn, wheat, and beef. It also exports wine and automotive parts. And its top trading partners include Brazil, China, and the United States, which together make up a significant portion of its export and import activity. Now, moving on to income and wealth, Argentina has a moderate per capita income of around 10,000 US dollars. However, wealth distribution remains uneven with a high inflation and reoccurring economic instability, which often deepens the gap between the middle class and the lower income groups. In Argentina, the most impacting fact is that the richest 10% controls more wealth than 60% of the country. So in the two graphs that I've included, on the left, we have the income inequality from the year 2000 to 2019. The red line signaling our pre-tax national income of the top 10% of the population, and the blue line signaling the pre-tax national income of the bottom 50% of the population. While on the right, I've included the overall average income between the year 1820 to recently 2023. Again, the national income signaling in red, while the GDP income signaling in the line blue. So when it comes to trade regulations, specifically tariffs and duties, Argentina applies a common external tariff called the CET as part of Mercosur, which is the South American trade bloc. Tariffs generally range from 0% to 35%, depending on the tariff. During this administration, it's trying to push for lower tariffs unilaterally and reform Mercosur's trade framework to allow more bilateral deals. When it comes to export regulations, in the past, export taxes, also known as retenciones, were common, especially on agricultural goods like soy and beef, which are their top exports. Now, the current government is reducing or eliminating export duties to boost competitiveness, especially for industrial goods and mining, for example, lithium. Also, fewer export restrictions, although food security and inflation concerns may prompt several selective controls, sorry. And lastly, in terms of import controls, historically, Argentina had strict import licensing requirements and quotas, especially during the protectionist administrations. But under this current administration of the President Milei, the government is dismantling many of these previous restrictions, aiming for a more liberal trade policy. However, some non-automatic import licenses still exist, mainly for sensitive goods or to protect local industries. All right. And still, doing business in Argentina can be challenging. According to the graph from the World Bank's doing business rankings that I have on the right, Argentina is placed 126th out of 190 economies, with particularly difficulties in areas like paying taxes, dealing with construction permits, and starting businesses. On the bright side, it's comparatively better at protecting minority investors and has made some progress in enforcing contracts and simplifying trade procedures. In terms of the government's attitude to foreign investment and trends, the current administration is strongly pro-market and pro-investment, meaning that they advocate for economic liberalization, deregulation, and privatization of state-owned enterprises specifically. When it comes to the focus areas for foreign investment, currently Argentina's top three include energy and natural resources, infrastructure, and technology with fintech.
Hello, my name is Marco, and I'll be talking about Argentina's inflation levels and currency exchange rate. So when it comes to inflation trends, Argentina's annual inflation dropped to 66.9% in February 2025, which was down from over 200% in 2024. Now, its monthly inflation rate slightly increased to 2.4% in February from 2.2% in January of this year. Now, in regards to the currency exchange rate, the peso continues to depreciate, with $1 being equivalent to 1,075 Argentinian pesos in April 2025 versus $1 being equivalent to 1,030 Argentinian pesos in January 2025. When it comes to risks of devaluation, despite a new $20 billion loan agreement with the International Monetary Fund, also known as the IMF, investor confidence remains low. So Argentina's central bank has lost $1.6 billion in foreign reserves since March, and this is due to the fact that they're trying to support and stabilize the peso. Now, future markets are pricing in further devaluation with expected annual rates over 60%. Now, next up, I'll be talking about Argentina's workforce. And to give you a little overview and some statistics regarding education and literacy, 98.1% of adults age 15 plus can read and write in Argentina. And as you can see in the map below, Argentina is actually the country with the highest adult literacy rate in South America. In regards to higher education completion, 23.7% of adults from the ages 25 to 64 have completed university or technical school. When it comes to skilled labor availability, labor force sizes include over 21.5 million people who are currently in the workforce. And in regards to skills gap of laborers, there is a stat that is 33% of employers report difficulty finding qualified workers in Argentina. In regards to labor costs, the minimum wage in Argentina is 296,832 Argentinian pesos a month, which is equivalent to $276 US dollars as of March 2025. And when it comes to labor productivity, it is estimated at $15.04 per worker in 2025. And then next up, I'll be talking about Argentina's membership in regional economic and trading blocs. So as mentioned earlier, Argentina is a member of Mercosur and has been a member since 1991. This includes Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Bolivia. It also included Venezuela for many years, but they've recently been suspended. And in this collective Mercosur, we see the promotion of free trade and movement of goods within South America. So now Argentina also has other trade relationships. It's a member of ALADI, the Latin American Integration Association, and it's also signed an EU-Mercosur trade agreement, and this was done in late 2024. It's still awaiting ratification, and Argentina is also looking to work towards reducing tariffs and expanding their exports. Now, the current outlook is that their current president, Javier Milei, supports trade openness and is also open to bilateral deals, even if it means rethinking Argentina's participation in Mercosur. So for the next slide, I'll be talking about Argentina's legal framework. And when it comes to IPR, intellectual property rights, we have patent enforcement, which is handled by Argentina's federal courts. And these cases may take 3 to 5 years for a first instant decision. And when it comes to patent approval delays, applications often face delays exceeding 10 years. So this clearly discourages an innovation in Argentina. When it comes to copyright law reform, the Decree 138/2025 allows creators of different inventions to manage rights individually or through multiple organizations, which enhances and improves flexibility. When it comes to contract enforcement, on the judicial efficiency side, the introduction of electronic payment of court fees has been introduced to Argentina to streamline processes in the judicial system. And when it comes to NDAs, the non-disclosure agreements, in Argentina, they're generally enforceable, but they must be comprehensive and specific.
Hey, Amber, I think you're muted.
Thank you. I apologize. My name is Amber Wilhelm. I'm going to talk about the market opportunity analysis for Argentina. Isabella mentioned earlier one of Argentina's top trade is soybeans. AI tools in Argentina's soybean industry can help grow the business more for the farmers. Argentina is one of the world's top producers and exporters of soybeans. Technology developments are essential to staying competitive. Precision farming using AI technology can increase crop yields, optimize resources, and use and boost productivity. Enhance productivity by streaming each step of the farming process. AI technologies can greatly increase productivity. Large data sets can be analyzed by machine learning algorithms and predictive analytics to provide insights into harvest timing, pest control, and planting schedules, which can increase yields. There are risk management to AI tools can enhance risk management by providing accurate weather forecasts, early disease detection, and access soil conditions. AI tools can help forecast droughts, rainfall, and optimize harvesting times. Economic benefits of AI forecasting tools forecast productions, market prices, and demands to guide logistics and strong decisions. AI tools also feature data-driven decision-making, empowering farmers to make informed choice decisions based on real-time data and analysis. Currently, traditional farmers rely on traditional farming methods. However, there's a gradual shift towards incorporating technology. Crop rotation and soil management is common to maintain soil fertility and reduce pests and disease. Farmers rely on traditional methods still for basic soil testing. Farmers also rely on calendar-based spraying schedules and manual labor reliance on human labor, planting, cultivating, and harvest crops, often without the aid of advanced machinery. Farmers are increasingly adapting digital tools for monitoring management through full-scale AI integration still emerging. Consumer preferences, consumers all are growing increasingly aware of sustainable and how agricultural practices affect the environment. Because AI ensures effective and environmental friendly farming, it can assist in producing soybeans that satisfy these needs. Organic and non-GMO products are looking for consumers are looking for soybeans and soybean products that are certified organic and non-GMO products. In order to guarantee ethical quality and standards are fulfilled, consumers want comprehensive information regarding the origin and production process of the food they're eating, including soybean products. Urban consumers increasingly buy soy milk that come from soybeans, tofu, or soy protein for health, lactose intolerance, or vegan vegetarian diets. There's competitive products in the industry also that help with the farmers with new technology. One of those competitive products is Terran's AI crop scouting strengths. For this, it indicates pests, diseases, nutrients deficiencies at plant level. The weakness for this competitive product, it's stable internet, costly for small farmers, and works better at bigger farmers. So smaller farmers like mom and pop farms are going to have a hard time incorporating this new AI technology. AgroSmart is decision support. Its strengths combines weather data, soil sensors, and AI guide integration and input use. The weakness for this data is accuracy varies with sensor quality, poor calibration, and reduces effectiveness. John Deere, which is one of the big manufacturers of harvesting tractors and equipment, they have a strength with integrates data from tractors, sprayers, harvesters, using AI to optimize spending, spraying, and harvest decisions. However, with this, it's very expensive and requires hardware compatibility with newer tractors and sprayers. Retail distribution channels for the AI-powered pest defense. Key distribution channels for the farmers would be purchase crop protection products through specialized retailers. Corporate and farmer associations present 25% of agrochemical sales, providing bulk purchasing and financing options. There are fast-growing e-commerce platforms that offer input services and AI tools directly to farmers via web or app, which I'll go over in a few minutes. E-commerce crop are some Agraphy, Ucorp, I can say this wrong, Aravant are some digital platforms to use for AI support. Large-scale soybean farmers now integrate digital tools and technology. Financing and credit access, retailers and corporations offer flexible payment options to ease adoption. Buenos Aires or Boa Santa Fe are places to do business with for soybeans. AI-produced pest defense aligns with Argentina's plan to reduce chemical pesticides. The next slide I'm going to get to after I speak about the major advertising platforms and strategies. With advertising, you can do many things that are free at no cost to the business. For instance, Google search, there are a few advertisements where people can see reviews from others and how well their services are doing with AI technology. Facebook and Instagram are very popular with the younger generation, and to continue to grow advertising here will help. The new and upcoming thing is TikTok. Over the past few years, it's become one of the fast-growing platforms to introduce different types of brands of things to buy. So AI technology will be very useful on understanding the new things that are going out there. Another thing that you can do are trade shows to place booth and demo what we are able to do with new technology we have growing. Evaluating market size and product potential. Argentina's soybean production is forecasted to be 49.6 million metric tons in 2024 and 2025. Market.us scope has an increase in 8 billion in revenue in 7-year time frame with AI technology, which is a really good revenue boost. In 2023, global AI-based pest management app was valued at 2.8 million US and is expected to expand to 9.4 million US dollars. The market is estimated to increase at 14.8% growth rate during this period. Using pest detection will help reduce possible crop losses. Using AI will help reduce people getting sick with putting harmful pesticides in the crops that could get in the air when not needed on the crops. The next slide we'll talk about before the next slide, we're going to talk about the target market and the demographics. The top target market scale will be soybean farmers, new farmers that want to be up to date on new technology and upcoming farms. The demographics are between the ages of 25 to 40, region in Buenos Aires, Córdoba, Santa Fe, and Entre Rios and La Palma are the major demographic regions in the area. Experience in farming practices, especially with openness to adopt new technology and innovations, are type of target markets we want to enforce. On to the next slide.
Okay, my name is Alexandra Kruger, and the cultural overview of Argentina. First, to go over the section religion, ethnicity, and language. Approximately 75% of Argentinians identify as Roman Catholic, so this makes it the dominant religion of the country. Other religious festivals they have are Christmas and Easter, like we celebrate in the States, and they have their Catholic values that continue to influence the Argentine views on family and community. So minority religions can include Protestant Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. For ethnicity, Argentina is one of the most European-influenced countries in Latin America, and this is because the vast majority of the population is from the European descent. And this European heritage, it's reflected in the architecture, the cuisine, the mannerisms. There are even smaller indigenous communities, particularly in the Northwest and South, as well as growing populations of Afro-Argentinians and immigrants from neighboring Latin American countries and Asia. The main language spoken in Argentina is Spanish. It is the most widely spoken language there, and it has a distinct Italian-sounding annotation, specifically in Argentina. So in business and formal settings, a respectful tone and professionalism is required. English is part of the school curriculum, and it's spoken in tourist tours and professional settings, but the fluency outside of the capital of Buenos Aires is pretty limited. Okay, going down underneath my pictures is the sports, social life, and leisure. So football is the source of national pride, and of course, because they have Lionel Messi. But the passion for football extends into everyday life. Kids play football, and it's very common in schools in childhood. And other popular sports can include rugby, tennis, basketball, and polo, with Argentina being one of the most top polo playing countries in the world. And so family and social structure. So family plays a central role and a respected role in Argentine life. So households often include extended family members, and it's really common for young adults to live with their parents into their 20s and even their 30s. So family loyalty is very strong. Okay, we can go on to the next slide. Okay. So in the business etiquette, We have a couple different things. So relationships are the most important thing in business etiquette, and especially establishing trust before formal business begins. So meetings often start with small talk, and directness is usually balanced with warmth. And in Argentina, not so much here in the States, interruptions are more common, and it actually shows that you're engaged in a conversation. So decision making is often hierarchical, but they have open discussion and with still respect for seniority. Okay, and then the dress code is conservative and elegant, and professionalism is a big part in the business etiquette. So communication style is very verbal. Um, they like to be expressive, passionate, and use animated speech. They have strong eye contact, might be more physical, and they have frequent hand gestures. They kiss each other on the cheek for greetings. And in the written form, it's pretty in tone. It's structured and respectful and professional. So to go into the Hofstede's dimensions, we have the power distance, which is labeled as high because the status matters and you need to respect authority and hierarchy. For individualism, it's moderate. It balances personal goals with strong group loyalty and family ties. For masculinity, it's high because this is a goal-oriented culture and performance is highly valued. It is a competitive nature, and uncertainty avoidance is high for the preference of clear structure, a preference for rules and planning, and risk aversion is high in business. And lastly, for the Hofstede's dimension, the time orientation is pretty present. They're very flexible to approach time in social meetings, but deadlines are important to them too. And last but not least, the marketing and distribution applications. So brand loyalty can be strong when relationships and trust are built. Messages should appeal to family, national pride. There's a sense of community here. So a high uncertainty avoidance means that consumers prefer like established brands, and social media, word of mouth really makes a difference when it comes to marketing and brands because there is such a community there. So same thing with the distribution that we went over. It has to accommodate that regional diversity, and the urban rural needs, it varies. So it depends where you are. Is that okay?
Hello, my name is Natalia, and I will be talking about the market entry mode. So a joint venture would be the most suitable market entry mode for Argentina. Some of the reasons are: a local partner establishes ties with suppliers, customers, and government agencies. They also understand rules and offer market knowledge. It can be challenging to manage Argentina's regulatory on your own, so including important and price regulations. Sharing risk with a local partner can lower exposure and increase financial flexibility. Facilitates quicker entry with local employees, operational infrastructure, and distribution channels already established. A local partner can assist by ensuring that taxes, labor laws, and rules governing foreign investments are followed. On to the next slide. So now I'll show you one of the case study of market entry strategies. So we have Carrefour. First, in 1982, the French multinational retail company opened its first hypermarket in Buenos Aires to join the Argentinian market. Carrefour used a fast growth strategy and rose prominence as one of Argentina's top grocery chains. The company adapted its pricing policies and product offers to local consumers' tastes in order to be competitive in the face of Argentina's economic ups and downs. Carrefour remained a major player in the nation despite obstacles, including inflation and economic downturns. In 2018, they responded to the difficult economic climate by implementing a transformation strategy aimed at increasing productivity and profitability. And in 2024, Carrefour announced a $300 million investment plan with the goal of reinforcing and enhancing its presence in Argentina. On to the next slide, we have the other case study of market entry strategy for Toyota. So in 1994, Toyota made its debut in Argentina by establishing a production facility in Zárate, Buenos Aires. Toyota increased its production capacity and model selection by investing more than $2 billion in the Zárate site throughout time. The company overtook longtime leader Volkswagen to take the top in the Argentine market by 2021. Argentina's best-selling car was the Hilux model. And Toyota stated in June 2023 that it will invest an estimated of $50 million to construct the highest light commercial vehicle in Argentina. And over 80% of Toyota's manufacturing is now sent to other Latin American nations, transforming its Zárate plant into a significant sport hub.
Hi everyone, my name is Adriana Lapointe, and as we're diving into the fun, interesting facts about Argentina, it is a dynamic nation well known for its important contribution to the world and rich cultural legacy. It is the birthplace of the great dance of tango and music style, which appeared in Buenos Aires in the 19th century. Since Argentina is the largest Spanish-speaking country in the world, being able to communicate in Spanish, it is essential for the business dealings. The country's deep-rooted religious traditions are reflected in a majority of the citizens who identified as Catholic, with about 62.9%. Argentina also has a strong sporting culture, with soccer or football being the most popular sport. This is demonstrated by the country's, which is remarkable, accomplishment of winning 3 FIFA World Cups, which highlights its international prominence in athletics. Now, as we move on to the next slide, we find the key challenges and risks as well as our threats in Argentina. As we examine the conducting business in Argentina, it is crucial to acknowledge a number of crucial elements that may have substantial influence on operations. Now, first of all, economic instability. It is a serious issue which is characterized by high rates of inflation that can change suddenly, that impacts their budgeting and pricing of the policies. Also, navigating the regulatory obstacles can also be difficult because companies frequently have to deal with laborious procedures as well as high tax obligations, which can surpass more than 35%. Another important factor is the market sensitivity. There is a strong preference for locally made goods, which impacts both, the competition and the consumer trust, especially when it comes to technologies like artificial intelligence. And then finally, it is impossible to ignore cultural considerations in Argentina, which establishes personal networks and relationship is frequently essential to conducting businesses, which underscore the significance of human ties in this distinct market. For organizations hoping to succeed in Argentina, it is essential to comprehend all of these factors. Now, as we dive into the market opportunity and recommendation, Argentina, we do recommend, entering the market in Argentina with the potential of AI industry for soybean. This is a growing need for agriculture technology, which makes it a valuable market opportunity, which optimize farming methods. The use of AI tools can lower costs and increase yields. The demand in potential for integrating AI is further increasing by Argentine farmers, increase awareness of the advantages of this technology.